Hello guys, it's Sunday, so we can be a little bit more personal, and I have to confess, after this years of Russian war in Ukraine, I have already forgotten what is it, good old boring life. We often joke in Ukraine that we live in a history book, and of course it's extremely important, but it is also extremely exhausting. And whenever I collect the most important news for our Sunday update, I'm surprised at how many important things happen during just 7 days when your country goes through this important, challenging war time. And this week is not an exception. We had debates in the United States, we had attacks in Dagestan, we have announcement of North Korean soldiers coming to Ukrainian front lines. We've destroyed Russian S-500 air defense complex. International Criminal Court issued warrants to arrest Gerasimov and Shoigu, and even OSCE agreed that what Russia does in Ukraine is genocide. So let's go through this most important events from an ordinary Ukrainian perspective. My name is Anna and I vlog daily from Ukraine since the start of the brutal Russian invasion. So if you're new to the channel, you support Ukraine, please subscribe and help us fight against Russian propaganda and fake news. And my longtime friends, check your subscription status and hit notification button. I was honestly surprised to learn that OSCE agreed that what Russia does in Ukraine is genocide. You know how many world leaders are afraid of the word genocide. Sometimes I have this feeling that people are more afraid of the term than the act itself. And definitely, if you have a look at the things that Russia does to Ukraine on a daily basis, starting from stealing Ukrainian children and finishing with intentional destruction of our civilian infrastructure, of our electricity infrastructure, it is obvious. And you all know they apply scorched earth policy, which once again demonstrates the world, no, they don't need new territories, no, they are not fighting for people, they simply want to erase Ukraine as a free and independent nation so close to the authoritarian borders of Russia. So I hope this decision will somehow persuade and add decisiveness to those who need to make important decisions to help us defeat Russia sooner. Because Russia, North Korea, Iran, China, and many more authoritarian countries are uniting and sometimes demonstrate more efficiency than democratic countries that negotiate, doubt, and so on. We don't have this privilege anymore because, once again, the fact that we don't name it the Third World War, the fact that we do not want to fight in it does not change Putin's or Kim Jong-un's attitudes, who have started it against us long ago. And when I say us, I don't mean just Ukraine, guys. Of course, all of us were watching attentively debates in the United States. You know that I do not provide you my evaluation of what is happening because I'm a professional Ukrainian, I'm not a professional American, but I feel worried just as all people in the world because it's a complicated choice that will definitely have serious consequences for all of us. And we have to understand that. And elections in France, elections in the UK, actually this is an election year and it's not that good for the sustainable cooperation and support. And of course our chaotic enemies, they use it for their own benefit because they believe in the weakness of the democratic world, in the weakness of the democracy, but I'm sure we will persuade them in the country. And if you're new to the channel, join our beautiful community, please subscribe. This is the easiest way to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine and help us spread more information, which is actually vital. Dagestan was also in the center of global attention. This is one of 22 national republics that are a part of the Russian Federation. A beautiful reminder. Russia is just one of 22 national republics in the Federation, and after its collapse, don't be afraid, many new normal countries will appear. Stop being afraid of who will control nuclear weapons. Be afraid right now, because Putin controls nuclear weapons. And not just Putin, but Shoigu and Gerasimov, who are now official criminals, and International Criminal Court is looking for them. I know, dear Russian trolls, they will not be arrested tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow might be the day. And it is extremely important for future actions and for some decisions, including the usage, for example, of the frozen assets of Russian oligarchs in Europe and the United States. In Dagestan, there were attacks. Dagestan is very different from Moscow. They are mainly Muslim, they have different language, different family structure, and we don't have any adequate explanations what had happened there. But we know it's not the first attack. Something similar happened in Moscow Crocus Center, and I'm sure more and more protests, rebellions, good and bad things will happen in different corners of the Russian Federation, because war exhausting them enormously, and we can officially say that Russia is on fire every day. Every day, Ukrainian missiles, Ukrainian drones make it weaker by destroying its oil refineries, now military objects, and for example systems like S-400, 500. We were destroying lots of their S-300, S-400, but these are classical air defense systems, and S-500 is super new, super expensive. They claim it can stop ATACMS or other things, but no. And we have burned another one in Jankoy near a military airfield. And I'm sure this is the process of preparation for F-16's arrival to Ukraine, because, well, we have to take good care of this extremely important and extremely expensive aircraft, and Russian air defense systems are not good for their operation. That's why there are fewer and fewer left. In general, Russia ran out of air defense systems. They don't have enough for all of their vast territory, and they take more and more to Crimea, and we burn them in Crimea. So this is a continuous process, together with this thousands of Russian soldiers killed per day. We know that in May and in June, they actually have broken their own record, losing 35,000 per month. In total, it is more than 500,000. It is 542,000 already. Oh my God. Any other, at least like tiny bit a normal, sane country would have stopped long ago, but Russia simply continues mobilization. They typically mobilize 35,000 per month to cover the losses of the previous months, and now they have started inviting soldiers from the North Korea. Something that was impossible to imagine even at the start of Putin's tsardom, when he was visiting North Korea, but he was like terrified at this circus, but now he kind of likes it, and this shows the degradation of his evil personality. I'm sure these North Korean soldiers won't change much. They will be hungry, they will be tired, many of them will try to escape, others, the majority, will become cannon fodder. But this demonstrates us how effective in this negative cooperation authoritarian regimes are, because they sign an agreement, and in a couple of weeks, soldiers are already deployed. With our allies, we discuss, we consider this option, but we are not yet there. Though I believe that some international soldiers coming to Ukraine would be of benefit both for us and for the countries who send them, because Ukrainian experience is extremely valuable and extremely important, and we are ready to share with it. And I'm sure there are lots of non-combat missions, like demining, like training, like support with the border. You know, we have Belarus border, for example, my region borders with this annexed by the Russian Federation countries. There are lots of things that they could do, learn, and at the same time free many Ukrainian soldiers to move closer to the front lines and to fight there. But at the moment, there is no such will yet. Subscribe if you're new. This will be a very beautiful present to all the people who fight, stand for Ukraine, and this is very important, taking into account that Russia wants to destroy us every day. Today they have targeted Kharkiv with cabs, destroying the terminal of the Nova Poshta new post, which is an ordinary post of Ukraine, killing a driver of that post office, and luckily all the workers managed to hide. And also there were explosions in Kyiv, and it's just like an ordinary day in Ukraine. Guys, this is so wrong. Once again, I'm recording this and I realize how many things have changed in my life, how ordinary I feel about air raid alerts, about missiles, the information, like anything, like all this abnormal news. It's so wrong that we are to some extent getting used to that. And I loved reading Zelensky's reaction to the lack of confidence among some of our allies about Ukraine's future in NATO. And, you know, like, he has a good sense of humor, and I loved his new argument. He said that if you want peace on the planet, you should invite Ukraine to NATO, because NATO will limit us. NATO will prevent us from taking serious revenge on Russia. So if you don't want us to burn Russia, take us to NATO so that we have to follow some rules and so on. But anyway, it's a joke, but at the same time, please don't be afraid of Ukraine in NATO. I think it's so logical. Now we are an extremely experienced, strong country. We know this evil. We know a lot about Russia. We know a lot about China, North Korea, Iran, because actually all the weapons and missiles that they send, we work with them, we detect them, we destroy them. So many things that soldiers of your countries luckily do not know, but they may, because when we look in the faces of Putin and Kim Jong-un, do you see anything sane there? No, of course, they are already fighting the Third World War. So I hope all of the global leaders will finally understand that, accept that, and help us stop it. And the sooner we stop it, the better it will be. I'm very grateful for all of you who support Ukraine, who continue speaking with your representatives, who continue reminding about Ukraine. Please don't get used to this war so that in 10 years you don't need to do the same in your own countries. Believe me, I'm not trying to exaggerate. I'm not trying to exaggerate. Back in 1938, in 1939, it seemed to many that with Czechoslovakia or with Austria, this will stop. It didn't. It didn't. And we see all of that symptoms in Putin and his authoritarian friends that are super effective in the way they cooperate. But I still believe that democracy is always stronger, because this is what all human beings should want to stand for. That's why I'm confident that we will win. But definitely, for the sake of many beautiful people, for the sake of many beautiful cities, for the sake of our nature, for the sake of our mind, psychology, state, it is better to win sooner. So let's do it. We can do it. Remember to join me on Instagram, X, and Threads. All the links that you need are in the description of this video. Also, we have a beautiful merch shop with lots of items that are not just beautiful, but also work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. Thank you for buying me coffees and becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel and helping me film and write more. I'm blessed to have you. I'm very grateful, and you know I love you. Slava Ukraini!